Hey folks, this is Crazyhouse, and today I want to do a review of the comic book series Raymond Leonard's Agent Solo City Under Siege. And I will be reviewing the first two issues of this series. As of yet, issue 3 is not out at this time, but I was able to support Raymond Leonard's efforts when he had a GoFundMe, not a GoFundMe, Indiegogo for these books. And I just received my books in the mail, so I read through them very quickly, and overall I enjoyed them very much. I'm going to get more deep into the review of these comic books, but let me first do my little plug for my work. If you want to support me here at my Crazyhouse YouTube channel, you can always become a Patreon of Crazyhouse. Once you become a Patreon, it's only $5 a month, and you will be able to download exclusive artwork from me, and that comes in the form of exclusive coloring pages that you can download and color yourself. You can also download exclusive clip art that is only available on my Patreon, and you can also download exclusive artwork that you can put on the background of your mobile device or your desktop or your laptop. So that's what you can get from me on Patreon. Also, if you want to support Crazyhouse, you can always go to my online store. I have my comic books there on sale, my coloring books, my posters, and also naturally cute stickers. So all that stuff is available on my online store, and I will autograph each and everything for you once you get it from my online store. So now that I got that out of the way, let's get into Agent Solo. So you know that I did some fan art of the actual character of Agent Solo on my YouTube channel for one of my drawing my butt off Thursday night drawing sessions. And you know, even before I did that, even just thinking about the release of these comic books coming out pretty soon, and it was almost fortuitous because as soon as I did that, I think it was that weekend that I got these books in the mail, and I couldn't wait to check them out. First, you know, every time I get a new comic book, I like to thumb through it just to see kind of what's going on. That's just kind of been my thing, being a comic book collector since like the 80s and 90s. You always kind of thumb through it to see if there's anything interesting in there that you want to look at and read. And I was immediately gripped by the colorfulness, the action, and the amount of different types of characters and situations going on in this book. So I immediately said, okay, I'm definitely going to read this. And what I received was the first two issues of Agent Solo City Under Siege. So this is an interesting story where Agent Solo was out on a mission, and then all of a sudden his home city of Chicago is actually assaulted by four super criminals who had just broken out of prison. So, you know, it's an interesting story just because you get a lot of action. It's extremely action-packed, but you also get to see a variety of characters, not just Agent Solo himself. So that's what I want to talk about. And I also got a variant cover of issue 2 that was done by the legendary artist Rob Liefeld. So Raymond Leonard is very much inspired by comic books from Image and early 90s comic books, if you can think about like Image or Milestone. So you can see that influence in Raymond's artwork, and he actually got Rob Liefeld as a fan, and Rob Liefeld did some fan art of Agent Solo, and Raymond used that for the cover of one of his books, or a variant cover. It's not the original cover, but it's a variant that you can also get. So just getting mostly into the story, I won't spoil too much of it for you. I'm just going to give you an overall review of what I thought of this book. First of all, in issue 1, it starts out with Agent Solo's arch nemesis. I believe the character's name is Strikeout, and he's a one of those hardcore mercenary type characters with, you know, cybernetic parts. His face is fully covered, so you really can't see his identity, so he's almost kind of like a mystery warrior type If you think of characters like Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow or Deadpool, he kind of fits into that mold. And you know he's an arch nemesis of Agent Solo from other issues that Raymond has done, but also just with the dialogue in this book. What I like about this is if you have no familiarity with this character or with the comic book series itself, it does something that a lot of early 90s comic books did, where they gave you a good amount of exposition and letting you know that there's history between these characters or other adventures you might not have seen. And they do it in a good way while still keeping the action moving forward. I think Raymond has actually mastered that very well. And like I said, I noticed that influence comes from a lot of early 90s comics, especially in Image, because Image was very much influenced by classic comics from Marvel that actually did have all that history that you could look back on and see those old adventures. But Image didn't have that, but they wanted to create a universe that was more lived in. So that way, by kind of giving a little bit of exposition as these characters have fought before, maybe referring to past events that you haven't seen, it's a way to add history to your universe while also still moving the story forward with the action. I think that's actually a decent way to do it. If you don't have that whole history there, it's actually adds some extra story building and world building. Also, you use your imagination to fill in what might have happened before. So it starts out with the character Strikeout in a secret laboratory, and he stumbled upon an experiment on different human beings going on there. And I won't spoil what's going on exactly, but he's trying to get some of this technology for the terrorist organization that he works for. Meanwhile, you have Agent Solo. He's actually on a mission, and he's underground in the sewers trying to stop this same terrorist organization and one of their other agents named Shark Bull, who has kind of like a evil shark scuba diver motif going on there. And it's a really cool battle. You get to see Agent Solo fight this character as well as one of his colleagues gets injured at the same time. And once again, what I like about this and where it harkens back to the early 90s is you get some very cool action, but it also introduces a lot of characters at the same time. Like there's, in every portion of the story, you get brand new characters that are introduced, and you kind of get a sense of what the characters are about very quickly. That's what I liked about this book. It's very much shorthand, but you pick it up very quickly. So if you're an avid comic book reader, you'll get where this is coming from very easily. Or if you're just someone who likes to read action and adventure, you'll also glam onto it very easy. It's almost very much like a Saturday morning cartoon. That's the best way I can put it as well, if you're not into comic books. But if you're familiar with Saturday morning cartoons, this comic book fits the bill. And as far as the action goes, it also fits in very well. So while on this very mission, Agent Solo finds out that 4 of the criminals that he helped put behind bars have escaped, and now they're raising hell in Chicago. And what we find out later on is that these criminals all have a vendetta, obviously, against Agent Solo for putting them there in the first place. And they want to draw him out so they can lure him out and basically kill him and get rid of him and get him out of the way. And I won't spoil for you what exactly happens in the next issue. I will just say it's action-packed. It also introduces you to more of Agent Solo's colleagues in the government agency that he works for. And you get to see him and all of his powers, and also learn a little bit more that his past might be a little bit more mysterious than was originally led on to. So there are some people in this book who seem to know that he does have a secret origin that even he doesn't know about. And I'm eager to see where that portion of the story goes. So if I can give you any recommendation, I would very highly recommend Agent Solo if you're a fan of classic comics. As far as criticisms go, the only real criticism I can give to this is some of the panels and some of the action in the panels, I noticed that I could punch them up. And what I mean by punching something up is make it more exciting and make it more action-packed and maybe change some of the angles or whatever. This is not a big criticism or me tearing down Raymond Leonard's art style. It's just more of an artistic critique, and just me as a professional artist, I see where I could not fix, but tweak certain things and make them a little bit more action-packed. And this is not something I would just put on him. I put this on myself. Like, I look at some of my first issues of comic books, and I look at like maybe Knucklehead's number 1 or 2, and I say, hey, I could have done this panel better. Now that I'm actually sitting and thinking about it, I could have done a different angle and it would have been more interesting and more exciting. But also, as an artist who is good at completing work, I realize you gotta get that stuff out there. So sometimes you can't always keep second guessing yourself. It's better just to get it out there and get it done, because now I get to actually sit, read, and enjoy this book. And Raymond is not just sitting in his studio second guessing and saying, well, this panel could have been done this way, that way, or the third. It's better just to get it out there, and what you do as you go along and progressing and creating more books, you do better next time. That's my philosophy as far as not just doing comic books or illustrations, but also doing like animation as well. You improve as you go along. Of course, you always want to go back, or you could always go back and refine things, but at some point it's better just to get it out there, and you just do better next time. I'm sure the third issue will be even better, and if he goes on, I'm not exactly sure how long this particular story arc is going to be, but I'm sure the third issue will be good. I'm looking forward to seeing the actual showdown between Strikeout and Agent Solo, and because it's kind of left on a cliffhanger in the second issue where Strikeout actually shows up through a portal. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And also, I think his art and his action will improve in the next issue. And as far as it keeps going, I'm sure it'll get even better as time goes on. So if you want to pick up this book, I'll post some links to where you can contact Raymond and pick up these 2 books. And I'm not sure if he has any more of the Rob Liefeld cover variants left. I'm sure that's going to be a quick selling item, but I'll post a link so you guys can go check it out and see if you can purchase it yourselves. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope Raymond gets a chance to see this and enjoys the review as well. But I really enjoyed it. The action was great. I love the colorfulness and the diversity of characters that you got going on in here. And I very much look forward to seeing what's next with Agent Solo. Anyway, guys, Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.